This is a product of Coop with the Scoop Part 2. Links are in the description. Sports fans who want to work in sports, this is for you.
Pat McAfee, I'm sorry. I think he's going to sign a 60 to $65 million deal. So
Hmm.
these guys, Pat McAfee did play football, obviously.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's interesting because then you have Michael Jordan, who obviously is one of the greatest athlete of all time. And obviously he didn't do great, working behind the administrator side. And I guess for you, what your rise, or not your rise, your ESPN experience really came when personality in sports started sort of getting uplifted.
Yeah.
So how did you really use that to your advantage and tailor it to what was fun for you and what worked for
Yeah. No, for sure. I used it because at the time in 2015, when I got to ESPN Houston, what was happening in Houston specifically, all the sports shows were pretty much all sounding alike. They were all just keep it pretty bland, don't offend anybody, talk about the game, break it down, and then move on. There was no personality. But then at the same time, there was the rise of personality across nationwide, right? Like podcasts were becoming a thing.
you?
Barstool Sports was at the time getting bigger and bigger. So those were all personality driven conversations. Those were all personality driven brands. And, I just happened to be there at the same time. And that's what I told ESPN. I was like, look, if I come on, like I had a successful marketing career that I was working on full time. And I said, if I come back into sports radio, I'm going to be me. I'm not going to be the boring sports talk that everyone else is doing. And that's why it worked out. So I've always done that. And I've lost jobs because of that, because I'm like, I'm not willing to be something I'm not. And I think that's important. In this industry, you'll lose some opportunities, but at the end of the day, you'll be happy. And that's what matters.
I understand. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
very powerful. And for you specifically, I want you to take all your experience and also just your pure enjoyment. What has been your
Mhm.
favorite sport to cover, or just not even cover? Maybe even if you, didn't even, you haven't really had anything, but you've just, as a sports fan, what sport have you mostly enjoyed over everything else?
Yeah, covering the NBA is number one to me. I love the NBA. I love basketball. So anytime I get to go cover an NBA game, and when I first started in sports radio, I was working at 1560 The Game, which was a startup
Yeah.
sports radio station,
Mhm.
and I was their reporter slash fill-in guy slash host, like whatever they needed me to do. But I was at every single Houston Rockets game
That's awesome.
for the first 3 years of my career. Every Astros game, every Texans game, I was a reporter, so I had to be there. And covering the NBA was the best. Like to me, it's I could sit there and watch games. I got paid to do it, which was nice. And then afterwards, I get to go talk to guys that I grew up watching, right? Kobe, Allen Iverson, so many others, Tim Duncan. So that to me is the best. And then there's certain events as well that I really enjoyed doing. For example, when the Super Bowl was here in Houston in 2018, I think it was 2018 or 2017.
I think you're right.
That was
20.
the Falcons Patriots 28-3 game. That one, just being there on Radio Row for the whole week was a blast. Like I loved it. I couldn't get enough of it because I could go up to anybody and just interview them, right? And that's access that you just normally don't get. That's another one. And then now currently working with the UFC, doing their events and calling fights for Fury Fighting Championship, which is an official partner of the UFC. Um, I get to call fights and get to be part of a story for these fighters who are going to be in the UFC very soon, or they usually get the call right after they fight for us in their main. If we're in our main event, they get a call to the UFC if they win. So seeing their rise has been so much fun to cover. Like I called Josh Fan, who is the current 125-pound champ in the UFC and defending champ. He's defended his belt once already. I called all of his fights before he got to the UFC. So that's one of the cool things. I still see him. So to be part of his journey a little bit, it's one of the cool things in sports and definitely one of the cool things I've covered.
It's beautiful. Well, my plans for that, my expectation, I thought you were going to go an easy UFC answer for that question because my next question
No,
goes into UFC.
it's in the
Um,
yeah, like UFC stuff. I normally don't go to the actual UFC numbered cards because I don't need to, and if I
right.
don't need to, and I don't get paid for it, I'm not going to do it, unfortunately. I have a family. I'd rather be at home with them. So I don't have any like big UFC moments. But yeah, just calling those fights on UFC Fight Pass, they're definitely some of the highlights.
Right. But for as of right now, UFC is obviously a big part of what you do, and you're obviously very into it.
Hmm.
And if you were commissioner, if you could make all the rules for UFC, educate me. I'm sort of new. I'm a little bit new to UFC. What are some things that you would, I don't know
Yeah.
about alter, but what are some
Oh,
ways that you would alter it? Yeah,
I've
whatever you
got
got.
one that I literally will go
Please.
on a monologue about once a broadcast, I think. So in MMA and boxing, it's done on a judging scale, right? Like a point system. So every round somebody can win at 10-9, or you can win at 10-8 if it's a very, very dominant round. So usually somebody wins a round by a 10-9 score. So when you get into the later rounds, you don't know the scores until the end. So it's a closed scoring system, which
Right.
I hate. I think it's one of the dumbest things we do in MMA, in boxing, in combat sports, whatever. Um, every other sport, you can look up and know that, okay, this team is down, this fighter is down, and this is what they need to do. In MMA specifically, you don't know. So I'll give you an example.
Yes,
This
please.
past weekend, we had a title fight. It's a 5 round fight. Going into the fifth round, we just had to assume that fighter A was up over fighter B. We don't know.
Okay.
And why this matters is because if fighter B knew that she was down in the fight, then in round five, the only way she could win that fight was to get a finish. So she would have to just go for broke.
But she
But
doesn't
if
know
she
that.
doesn't, yeah, she doesn't know that. And let's say the rounds were very close, then they're probably assuming that, oh, I'm probably up on rounds, so they take a different approach. I just hate that we don't have open scoring.
Okay.
And we should be able to see the judges' scores after every round, and it's there up in the stadium, and we know what's happening. So, I think it would make for an exciting product as well. But that's something that I guess tradition just doesn't allow, which is one of the weird things in combat sports. I hate it. I
Hmm.
want official scoring to be public.
Is this a very like common opinion, or is this just only you? Because I would imagine that I mean everyone feels this way.
All the fans agree with it. It's just the higher ups that don't. I've talked to plenty of people. They're like, we would love to do it. The state commission would allow it as well. It's just certain people don't want it, so it doesn't happen.
It's very interesting because I think even the players or the fighters in there, and if they're even winning, I'm sure they'd rather know just so they can preserve their
Yeah,
energy. Like, there's a lot of different
exactly.
reasons for why.
Exactly. One of the things that I always hear from people is like, well, if a fighter knows that they're up 4 rounds to none going into the fifth round for a title fight, they would preserve their energy, they'll play it safe, they'll put
Mhm.
on a boring round. And I say, yes, they would. That's the right thing to do. Like you preserve your win. Okay.
Mhm.
It's just like in the NFL. If you have a 2 touchdown lead in the fourth quarter, you're not going to throw it.
No.
You're going to run it and run the clock, right? Just get the win. It happens in every other sport,
Yeah.
but for whatever reason, we don't allow it in combat sports, and it's so annoying.
It's very interesting because almost you can almost make an argument. I mean, I would because it comes to me. It's almost hazardous to the fighters. I mean, it could be like one of
Yeah.
them maybe they don't know they have they don't know they have to put in a dominant round. So the other player, you usually want to be expecting. It's you know what I
Yeah,
mean. Like it's you want to be
you
in the
kind of
clear.
know, like, and what happens is if it is a close fight the entire time, both
Mhm.
corners are probably telling their fighter that you're down.
Yes.
Like they're playing that reverse psychology almost. Like, hey, you're down on the scorecard, so you got to go for a win, or you
Mhm.
got to have a dominant round here, right? So like they, the corners figure that out and they'll make it work. But I just think from a fan's perspective, from just an outright, transparency perspective, see how the judges are scoring the fight, where they weighing, like I'm getting super intricate on this, but it could be that one judge is weighing control time versus damage, which they're not supposed to do, right? So then we would have an actual look at like this is how this judge is scoring it. So
Mhm.
it would just change everything. I think it would make the sport better.
Well, can I ask you one final question?
Hmm.
This is, I feel like, very controversial. All the dads, don't like this. All the people I think above my generation,
Hmm.
because this UFC topic we're going to. The next thing I would go into is if they are probably going to count the score up. then I think if say if they use your rule, then they're also I think gonna have to maybe pivot to get watching replays and checking VAR as they call it. What is your polished and what is your opinion on all the replays in football, in basketball, and even soccer? Do you like
Yeah.
it? Are you for it, or how are you?
I, I like it. I like replays. There's a lot on the line, right?
Yeah,
With a decision. It could change a season, it could change somebody's career. So there's a lot on the line. So let's get the calls correct, right? Like that's end of the day, get the calls correct. I've officiated basketball games. I like doing that, and like I'm officiating low level basketball, and it is hard. It
yeah,
is hard. Like you
oh yeah.
miss calls, right? So let's get the calls right, but also we have to do it in a timely manner.
Okay,
It can't just be constantly taking forever. Like it can't be a 5 minute thing. If you can't watch the replay and have it done in about a minute, then you just keep the call as is and you admit you mess up. Like you have to get the flow going because at the
it
end of the
messes
day,
up the fun.
sports is still entertainment, right? And when there's a lapse in that time, it takes forever. People lose interest, they change the channel. It sucks. So I think yes, replay and they'll use common sense with it as well.
Because now in our days, obviously, attention span is something that's so important.
Yeah.
And but even if it's not, these people with strong attention spans, after 5 minutes, we're like, dude, we don't care. Like it's been
Yeah.
5 minutes. We're just like, we're gonna check on another game.
Yeah, you lose interest in it. So you have to speed it up a little bit.
Okay. And if there was any year that you could say, obviously you're not done now. I don't mean to
Yeah.
call.
No,
I'm
that's
not
fine.
calling for your retirement, but in the past years, what would you say has been your favorite year covering doing radio, doing all of the fun stuff that you
Oh
do?
man. It's hard to pick one specific year because everything just blends together at this point. Like I've been doing this for almost 19 years, so
Got to do it
it's
to you,
hard.
Raheel.
Yeah.
Got to put you through it.
Yeah, so like it's hard to pick one specific year, but I think I would rank it the first 3 years of my career were the most fun I've had because I was, fresh out of college working in a top 10 market, covering all these big teams, having access to all the teams and just like making these memories, having fun nights, being a reporter, working these hours and, just having such a great time with friends because the people I worked with, they were my friends and they still are.
Right.
So I would say those like first 3 years from 2007 to 2010, I wish I could live those years again. And then it would be the ESPN years, 2015 to 2019, such a fun time. And specifically 2019, I think that year, like we were number one in our time slot. We were killing it. We were doing stuff with the XFL at the time. I was doing stuff, outside of radio as well, and it was just so much fun.
You
So
were
I
a
would
host for
take
the
those
Roughnecks,
years.
isn't that right?
Yeah, host for the Roughnecks. I was doing stuff with Movember. Like I went to London to do a photo shoot. So that year was a blast. And then I would say the last 3 years of doing UFC as well and doing Roughnecks or now the Gamblers, like whatever their team is called, hosting for them, doing SaberCat stuff, which was the former rugby team that was here, doing a lot of, the CityCast Houston podcast at the time. I was busy every day and I loved it. It was so much fun, just to have that work and that grind. So yeah, like there's just so many good years to pick from. I've been lucky.
It's
So
a flow
I
state.
wish I could do it
Sounds
all over again. Every year would be great.
Sure. But
Yeah.
the 2015 and now 2019, especially with the Rockets on top of the world, it felt like, of course.
Yeah, yeah. There's good basketball to watch too, so which was cool.
Totally, totally.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, Raheel, I don't know how I'm going to close this out, but
Yeah.
I love you. Thank you for answering the questions. Thank you for being so quick with the response.
Man, of course,
Um,
of course.
I don't want to hold you. I don't want to hold you later than you need to.
No,
So,
you're good. If you have any other questions you want to go ahead, we have like a couple of minutes, so don't be
cool.
shy.
Okay.
Yeah.
What would you say are some of your what is something you love about the about covering sports that has changed in maybe the past 5 years, 10 years, since the co
Yeah.
actually I'm going to say five since the COVID era.
Yeah, I think the one of the things I love about what's changed is that athletes are now giving us the story and they have an opinion. They are more accessible. They're doing our job, frankly.
Hmm.
Like they're hosting podcasts. They're the ones breaking down film, breaking down tape for fun. I love that. To me, it's not competition, it's more access to them and understanding the pro side of things, what coverages they were seeing, whatever it is, right? Like I love that side of it. It wasn't like that before. Athletes felt like everything had to come through the media and we would filter it out, which was stupid in my opinion. Like you can be the story. Like you are the story. So like
You are the story.
go do your own thing.
Hmm.
But the rise of podcasts, the rise of social media, how easy it is to make content now, it just makes it even better. There's so much information out there, and I love that.
Even just the fact of like Draymond Green having a podcast show, or even,
Yeah.
some have mixed opinions about this Jaylen Brown streaming. But
Yeah,
regardless,
but like you hear,
yeah,
we're not wondering like, man, I wonder what Jaylen Brown feels about the trade. No, like
yeah,
if you want to know, it's out there,
yeah,
right? It's no longer just wondering and answering for the athletes. They answer for us, and I like that. That's
yeah.
accessibility that we didn't have before.
Also, of course, the LeBron podcast that he's doing with Steve Nash is very, because
Yeah.
I think before, people, they want it to be obviously confidential about, the
Hmm.
schemes and all that. But nowadays, people are just like, everyone knows everything. You can research, you can know anything,
Hmm.
you can have
Yeah, like
everything
there's
on
a
your.
meme. There's a meme on in NBA Twitter that started a couple years ago. Was just like when JJ Redick was doing his podcast, it would all everything would be about drop coverage, and everyone became a drop coverage specialist because JJ was explaining it, and everyone in every game would just point out, "Oh, look, they're in drop coverage right now."
Because
So
all
like
you need is
things
YouTube.
like yeah, like things like that are good. Like it makes the fans more educated. It hopefully makes the media more educated, and it just makes for a better ecosystem that
Sure.
we can all thrive in.
Okay. Last question that I'm sure that every sports fan is wondering: where do you think LeBron is going, and where would you like to get? Where would you like to see him end up?
I would love to see him with the Houston Rockets. That'd be great. I would
Or
love
so
to.
would I, Raheel, but
Yeah, yeah, I
I
would
don't,
love to see him here in Houston.
I don't think it's
To have
realistic,
LeBron,
unfortunately.
even at 42 would be phenomenal because he'd be 41 going into 42. I would love that, but I think
Yeah.
he's going to Miami. I really think the Miami writing is on the wall. I don't know if you saw, but they had like on YouTube, they had an introductory press conference scheduled
Yeah.
that said LeBron. I don't know if that's somebody trolling us, but I think it's going to come down to Miami or Golden State, one of those.
Yeah, I would love to see Golden State just because, two superstars, even I would just like to see
Yeah.
them coexist together. But
I would hate to see him in Golden State, to be honest with you, because that would
but
mean that would
Miami,
be yeah.
Miami's there with
Miami,
Giannis.
go on the Eastern Conference, take
Okay,
care of
fair,
business.
fair.
Yeah, yeah. I don't want another Golden State Rockets playoff series heartbreak.
Okay, yeah. Well, now I don't either. But either way,
Yeah,
it'd be LeBron and Giannis on the same team. That's still just as scary, real for me,
that's nuts. Yeah, it'd be wild to see.
for sure. All right, I'm gonna stop the recording here. But
Yeah,
how's your family? Everything okay with your fam?
everything's good, man. No complaints. Just
Awesome,
yeah, living life, man. Just
awesome, good,
yeah, counting my blessings as always.
awesome,
I
good.
appreciate it, man. Let me know. Tag me on social when you publish this, and I'll share it out too. Okay?
I appreciate it. Thank you. I wish you all the
Of
best. Let's
course,
keep in
man.
touch.
Yeah, for sure. Good luck, brother.
All right, man. Talk to
I
you
gotta
soon.
run. Okay.
No
See ya.
worries.